Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Marta's Sci-Fi Seminar, and this is our 6th video on the process of drafting your first novel. So if you have kept up with the videos thus far, whether you're a subscriber or whether you're just kind of watching them at your own speed on your own time, you may be as far as 25,000 words. That's really fantastic. That's, if we're aiming for 60 to 70,000 words, that's nearly halfway. So keep up your momentum. If you are feeling anxieties about needing to stop and edit things, needing to add this in that I forgot in chapter 3, make yourself a quick note and keep going. Don't stop to edit yet. You need to just keep making words. Just keep putting things down on paper. Check with your outline. Check back into some of your brainstorming if you need to. Do more brainstorming and do more outlining if you need to, so you can keep kind of seeing where you're going. But keep moving forward. You are getting there. So the last few weeks, I have been talking about elements of fiction and giving some kind of definitions and examples of different elements of fiction. Today, the element of fiction we're going to talk about is theme. Normally, I do my book review things at the very ends of these videos, but in this case, I will be bringing the book review in a little earlier than usual because the book I've chosen is a fantastic example of a book that has some pretty critical themes involved. So the word theme gets used a lot kind of out in the world in a variety of ways. Oh, the theme of the festival is pumpkins. Oh, the theme of the party is Christmas, Halloween. Whatever your favorite literary character, okay? So when we talk about theme in a very general way, those are the kinds of things we mean. Now, we can also talk about the themes of books in a very general way. We can say things like, oh, the theme is love and loss. Oh, the theme is coming of age. But that's not a terribly helpful way to talk about the theme of a book, because obviously there are millions of titles that are about love and loss. There are millions of titles that are coming of age stories, and it doesn't tell you a whole lot about the book to just know, oh, that's the theme. When we, as literary scholars, use the word theme, we mean something more specific. And in fact, the way I'm going to use theme may not be the same way that all scholarly folks do. I'm going to use theme mostly to mean what is the book telling us besides the story, because a book's always telling you more than its story. A book is telling you about the world that it's in. A book is telling you something about what the author wants you to take along, besides just the story. So to me, theme is more in that kind of territory. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that a theme is the argument of the book. Now, again, not all scholars are going to use theme in quite that way. That's a very specific instance, but I think it's a very useful way to think about the theme of the book. What do I mean when I say the argument of the book? See, then we're stuck. I've defined something in a way that doesn't really define it unless you know all these other definitions. We'll get there. We'll get there. The argument of the book really is, what does the book have to say? Now, science fiction, as many of you know, is often called the literature of ideas. So very, very many science fiction books have some strong thematic content. There's something more being said there than just, here's how the story goes. And in the case of the books, plural, actually, that I'm going to talk to you about when I get to the review portion, the themes, and I believe there are several, they are interrelated, are very much a part of the story of the book, and yet they are separate from the plot itself. I may as well tell you the books I'm going to review. I've already talked about this as a big book anticipation for me this summer. Fenderson Djeli Clark, P. Djeli Clark on the book jackets, has written multiple novels, novellas, short stories. There are 3 that are part of the Dead Djinn universe. The first is a short story called Dead Djinn in Cairo. The second, The Haunting of Tram Car 15. And this one that I've been waiting on for years that I was so excited about came out in May, and that is The Master of Djinn. And I finally had a chance to sit down with it this last week and listen. I listened to the audiobook, which was fantastic. Suehyla El-Attar is the narrator, and she was amazing. It was really a terrific read. And her narration added to the whole experience. So, briefly, the Dead Djinn universe, which I think I mentioned when I talked about the book anticipation, is a steampunk version of Cairo, Egypt. And it includes Djinn and other magical creatures as part of its world building. So it's pretty fantastic stuff. It's pretty exciting stuff. And one of the most exciting things is it's an Egypt that was never colonized by the British. It's an Egypt that remained independent and was allowed to develop without colonial interference. And so there's all of this other kind of wonderful geopolitical undercurrent happening. And thematically, that's one of the things that rises to the top. One of the themes examined in a Dead Djinn, in the Dead Djinn in Cairo universe, in A Master of Djinn, is the damage colonialism can do. And the possibilities of what can emerge from nations that, had they not been colonized, what would that path have been? So these alternate anti-colonial histories, and this is one of several that are out there right now. It was really fun to look at that and to see that. One of the other major themes of the book, again, a lot of these themes are interrelated, is the notion of slavery or free will versus self-determination, both at the level of the individual and at the level of the nation. So there's a lot in the book about how those opposing forces work. I said here at the beginning, when we started talking about theme, that a theme is what the book has to say besides the story itself. Now, a lesser writer can be heavy-handed with the theme and preach to you and teach at you so that you have to walk away and know this lesson. That's called being didactic, when you're just really trying to hit home your point of argument and you're not doing it in a way that's very respectful to either your characters, to your world, or to your readers. One of the things great writers do is that they don't attempt to give you the theme forcibly. You have the free will to ignore the evidence you are presented. And I would put P. Djeli Clark in that class of great writers who present you with a great deal of thematic evidence to help you do some good thinking, some very nuanced thinking about free will and self-determination and how necessary those are for all of us, and to let you draw your own conclusions about how that relates to colonialism and slavery. Clark really does a wonderful job of just building a story where, hey, thematically, those things rise out of it as important, as presented for your necessary consideration. So I think that's pretty amazing as a way of handling big thematic content. I really loved the book. I had waited for it for a long time, and sometimes when you wait for a book for a long time, you're disappointed. It doesn't live up to your expectations in one way or another. This is a book that exceeded all my expectations across the board. And like I said, the audible narration by Suehyla El-Attar couldn't have been any better. It was so, I've actually narrated my own audiobook, so I have and I listen to a lot of audio fiction. So I feel like I have a pretty good sense of the work that goes into putting together a good audiobook and what it takes to really dramatize a work of fiction without overwhelming the work. And El-Attar just hits it right on. The book is wonderful. It has kind of, I went on at some length on the Mystery Channel, because this is a book, I'm not going to do this very often, but this is a police procedural. This is a mystery with a science fiction context. So I actually talked about this over on the Mystery Channel, Marta's Magical Mystery Class, and I'm talking about it here. I did kind of get a little too revved up about the science fictional elements over on the Mystery Channel, so our mystery fans will have to forgive me. But I do think this is just the sort of book that could take both the Hugo and the Nebula awards, because it has all that kind of fan favorite Hugo stuff. There's a lot of action. There are characters that we just love completely, and we just go, 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 go. And it has all that wonderful literary stuff that we look for in Nebula winners, including fantastic thematic content, great writing, incredible world building, which is important for both audiences, Hugo and Nebula decision makers. So, gosh, I've got my fingers crossed. I've read a lot of great stuff this year, but I think this is certainly my favorite sci-fi novel. It might be my favorite mystery that I have read this year. It was just really amazing. So I would highly encourage you to look up P. Djeli Clark's work, particularly the Dead Djinn in Cairo universe. If you don't feel like you have, it is a big novel, 15 hours of audio. Most audiobooks run around 9-10 hours, so it's a big book. If you don't feel like you have the time to devote to that big a novel, the Dead Djinn in Cairo short story is very short. And the novella set in this same universe, The Haunting of Tram Car 15, is also tremendous fun and significantly shorter. So it's worth just getting a taste of this universe, although I suspect if you get a taste of it, you will want more. Clark is a fantastic writer, and I look forward to reading some of his pieces that are separate from the Dead Djinn universe, and it does sound like there will be more to the Dead Djinn universe. So I'm watching. So that said, keep writing, stay in there. 25,000 words is huge. You are closing in on the middle. Soon, soon, soon. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep tuning in for more information here at Marta's Sci-Fi Seminar. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.